Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It is Tuesday, October 20th. I'm here with the great Joe Morton, one of the stars of the Public Theater's new audio production of Anne Washburn's play Shipwreck. It is a tremendous play. I urge everyone to listen to it. It's free. It's on their website. And you play a figure from current political history, Mr. Morton.
Yes, I play James Comey. I could probably only get away with it because it's a radio play, but but it's wonderful the way she does the relationship that she sets up between Trump and Comey in our scenes is borders on ritual, I think.
Yeah.
Because he enters the room, James Comey enters the room with huge trepidations, and then decides to face this, to use his word, this monster, and deal with what comes at him, knowing that he has to hold on to everything in order to survive this encounter with Trump, who's asking him for loyalty in no uncertain terms.
Tell me about the first time that you read the play. There was supposed to be a live production, an in-person production going on.
Yes.
Now, were you part of that, or
No. I only got involved once they decided to do this digitally.
What was your first reaction when you read it?
I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I thought that the idea of putting 6 characters in an old farm with no outside communications, their phones don't work, they don't know what's going on. Comey is in front of the judiciary because I think the first line of that section of the play is, "Did he get fired?"
Yeah.
Meaning Trump. Did he get fired? And then to read through all of their back and forth, as I say, whether it be gender or race or just plain politics, and then to find out, I kind of don't want to say that there is one character who surprisingly says, "And guess what? I voted for him." I thought was brilliant. And then the actual dinner is a whole other world with Ibis and as waiters, and this almost ritualistic encounter between Comey and Trump. I just thought was a brilliant way to do it. I mean, she has him say things that I think I've almost heard Trump say for real. He talks about, for instance, coming from Queens and coming from that kind of what he considers kind of lowbrow culture and becoming, and then living on Fifth Avenue at Trump Towers. I mean, I think I've almost heard Trump talk about himself in those terms, which was just amazing. It's an amazing play.
The setup feels like a horror movie almost. Doesn't it? It's
I know what you mean. Yes.
Dilapidated farmhouse with no cell reception.
Right.
And I was just so impressed with the way Sahim and the audio team put this together. Tell me about that experience. Couldn't possibly be your first time doing a radio thing, is it?
Well, not really. I mean, I've done audiobooks and that kind of thing. The first time I've done a radio, I think the only other time I've done a radio play was when I first came to New York, like 40, 50 years ago. But I've been doing a lot of Zoom stuff and, that kind of thing, a lot of digital work. So it wasn't that different from that kind of work. And Sahim was wonderful as our director. It was just terrific.
Yeah. What was it like to record? Were you all recording together? Did you record this as a play? Or
no, he broke it up into sections. So that the farmhouse was recorded on different days than the dinner was recorded.
Yeah. So we're living the history in this play. We've lived the history of this play. Are you the kind of actor that does research when you got cast? Did you go back and read all of Comey's testimonies and all that?
I went back and I actually looked at all of the footage, not knowing how close to Comey Sahim may have wanted us to be, knowing it's a radio play. But I wanted to remember what was said, what wasn't said. I went back and looked at some of the old newspaper articles when Comey talked about being asked for his loyalty, and then some of the aftermath of that stuff. And then just because the scene is so surreal, then just let it fly a little bit and just get involved with what's on the page.
Yeah. Did you worry about seeming real? Did you think about trying to be the real thing, or did Sahim guide you in the direction of
just for a brief second? Once you read it, you realize no, we're not doing this as any kind of cinema verite in any way.
Yeah. Tell me about playing opposite Bill Camp as Trump. That must have been a ball.
It was great. He's terrific. I love Bill Camp. He's terrific. He was wonderful as Trump. Full and rich. No, it was terrific. He's that's the first time I think we've actually worked together. So it was terrific.
Yeah. Did it feel like weird or strange, like doing a play that felt like a Shakespearean history play about stuff that's actually like going on now still?
Well, I did Stuff Happens when it when it was being first done over in England, so it felt like that. It felt like we were reenacting history in a Shakespearean sort of way, which is the same as Stuff Happens. So I suppose that part of it felt kind of natural. And so again, Saheem was really clear. I mean, he was clear about what he wanted and how he wanted it, and because we only were going to be using our voices and not be seen. It became a very specific kind of thing for him.
Why was it important for you as an actor, as a human, to do this particular play?
I think because there's an election coming up, and the sort of object of this play, Mr. Trump, I think needs to be exposed in as many possible ways as we can. I think that he is a danger to this society. I think that he is certainly a danger to people of color in this country. I think that his inability to sort of not cross the lines of law and order, as much as he talks about law and order, again, need to be exposed, because he needs to be out of that office by January.
Yeah. What kind of guidance did Ann Washburn provide in terms of your portrayal of the character? Did she give you advice on how she wanted it to be portrayed, or did she really give you free rein on? Yeah,
we had a certain amount of free rein. Clearly, Saheem was there to sort of lead us, and if there was any questions about what we were doing that felt like it might be going out of the parameters of the play, of course, then we consulted with Anne. But I think the most, as I remember, she changed some words because the way it's set up, you weren't sure what was happening because you can't see us. So that kind of thing.
Did it feel like doing theater? I mean, you've done so much theater over the course of your career. Did it feel like doing theater, or did it feel like something else entirely?
It felt like doing theater. I mean, it's very big. I mean, especially the scene with Trump is very big. So we certainly were not containing ourselves within the parameters of radio or, let's say, television and film. So in that sense, yes, it felt like a play.
What would you want to do it live when theater returns?
I'd love to. There's something I would prefer to do other than that. I mean, I think it's a real film play, but I think that we're talking about the possibility of Turn Me Loose, which is a play about Dick Gregory coming to Broadway. So
are you really? Oh, that's amazing. I love Turn Me Loose.
That's my hope.
I'm so excited to hear that about Turn Me Loose.
Yeah, I think we're going to do it with Second Stage.
Fantastic.
At their Broadway theater. So
what was that experience like for you as a performer? I know.
It was just amazing.
And Dick was around at that point.
Dick was still alive. We would send him, as the play evolved, we would send him different copies, which I don't think he ever read. Mm-hmm. I think it was mostly Christian, his son, did most of that. And then when we got into previews, his children would kind of come. He has 10 kids, right?
Right, yeah.
So 2 at a time, they would kind of come to the play, I think as a reconnaissance to see what I was doing and whether it could be trusted. And then, of course, opening night, I knew he would be there. I did not know where he was sitting, but I did know, because it was a small enough theater, that at some point we would make eye contact. And of course we did. And it was at the moment I was talking about Emmett Till. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because it was as if we were having our own private conversation in that moment. It was great. It was, and learning about Dick and bringing that to the stage and bringing his activism as well as his comedy to the stage was, I think, will remain as one of the highlights of my career.
That was an amazing production.
Well, thank you.
The fact that, I mean, it was the other gentleman on the phone every now and then, but the fact that just watching you for that 90 minutes, hour 45 minutes, it was just spellbinding to me. I remember seeing it at the.
It's quite a piece of literature. I mean, what she ended up writing. There are moments where she wrote something and I couldn't tell whether Dick had said that or whether she had written that, which was great.
Yeah. How did you get involved with that play to begin with?
A casting agent talked to my manager and said that they were looking for someone to play Dick Gregory, and my manager, of course, said, "Well, I know just the guy."
Yeah.
So they sent me the play. I read it. Then John Rubin and I got together along with Gretchen to sort of talk about the play and talk about how we wanted to approach the play. And it was like a grand love fest, and we all agreed that we wanted to do this together. And then we spent another year and a half, I think, before we actually brought it to Off-Broadway, working on the play.
What kind of toll did it take on you as a person to do that show 8 times a week, 7 times a week, whatever your schedule was?
Well, I think it took more of a toll on my partner, Christine, because she was always worried that it was going to be too much or whatever. And I just loved every second of it. I mean, I loved it because the things that Dick had to say were things that I wanted to say or had said or believed in. I also loved that at the end of the show, I would go out to the lobby and then spend another maybe hour with people talking to them after the show about the show. Because a lot of the older folks who came to the show, they brought their kids who had never seen or maybe even heard of Dick Gregory or heard of him but didn't know who he was. And they were very excited, and I was very excited to talk to them. So the experience as a whole was just enormously life-affirming.
I remember after seeing it, I went back and I watched like hours of footage on YouTube of Dick's older stuff, and it's really, really incredible.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly found a way to talk about politics and racism in this country in a way that made racism seem absolutely absurd.
Yeah.
And actually brought, because I think we have to remember that most of the time he was talking to mostly white audiences.
Right.
When he was at the height of his career. And then if you follow it in terms of all of his YouTube stuff, it's interesting that he becomes far more impatient as an older man than he was as a younger man. Because as an older man, he's doing a lot of radio, he's doing a lot of stuff in church, and he's literally reprimanding his audience. So he was something.
It seems like the perfect time to do it on Broadway too. So I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear that.
Well, as I say, fingers crossed.
Joe, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, and thanks everybody for watching. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.